Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Albany Manana Custom, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. Yes, we are continuing in our streak of vehicles that were released with the last DLC, and I've always liked the Manana. Not for its performance, because let's admit, it's always been a pretty slow car, but I think it's a good-looking car. Sort of rather odd wheelie we just did, and the customization options weren't as numerous for this car as was available on others, but at least it now has a bright white interior, thanks to Minis. And I like the livery that I have on it. There are other liveries, but I think this one just accentuates the lines of the car that are already there without going too over the top. I'm really pleased with it as a custom. Of course, it does get slightly better performance, actually. It goes from being a sports classics to a muscle car, and the performance is significant, but it's still not fast, and it still has crap brakes. And now it's a lowrider, so it's just even lower to the ground, which, potentially has issues off-roading, mainly when it hits, a bump. But so far, so good. I mean, obviously not setting any land speed records. Commander Hobo in his Roosevelt Valor about to overtake me several times. But the fact that the Manana doesn't have a lot of power tends to lend to okay off-roading, though we did get a lot of wheel spin coming up that last little hill. But it tends to be okay for off-roading in this type of situation, at least, just dirt and hills. Oh, hi, Hobo. Simply because, since it doesn't have a whole lot of low-end grunt torque, as we call it, it doesn't really struggle with keeping its wheels from spinning. Every once in a while, they do, but it's not bad. And at no point did I feel like the car was struggling to get up the hill. It just doesn't have the power to really do it very fast. I mean, it is a slow car, I guess is what I'm saying. There's Hobo again, having to back off just so I stay in the lead. Once again, saw a little bit of wheel spin, pretty much the steepest bits we see wheel spin. And we will struggle a little bit with the very final climb up the side of the rocks. Basically, we have to do a cheater run for it, but it was at least a pleasant driving experience, if not exciting. One thing I do notice, though, it doesn't slow down on the weeds as much as some other cars, like the supercars and sports cars, where if they just touch a plant, they come to a practical stop. It didn't happen. It just kept going. So coming up at the 3-minute mark, and like I said, we do struggle a little bit here. It just, it just doesn't have it. And I wasn't going to sit there and just spin the wheels. Part of that is due to the long overhang. Couldn't get the angle. So here, what I can do is get some speed up and kind of get there, a bounce, a little jump over that bit we were struggling with, and then we can get right up. But we are finally to the top of the mountain in 3 minutes, 24 seconds. So will the Manana off-road? Yeah, it will. Indeed it will. The ding was in the wrong place for me. I'll fix that for the actual video, but you may notice it. You might have heard it coming to my headphones just in the microphone. Yes, Finn struggled getting this lurcher to the very top, so he was using this up and atomizer to get him in there. 324, obviously not a good time. And obviously, with a lot of the vehicles we have in this series, you don't really want to take them off-roading. I mean, it's just for fun. It does give you an idea of, what different vehicles are capable of. But coming in at 3 minutes and 24 seconds makes it 20th out of, by the end of this video, 32 muscle cars. It is a second and a half slower than the original Dukes. Keep that in mind. And it makes it 180th overall as I take a drink of water. Much better. That's my big clean canteen here. Nope, not sponsored. I just like it. It's really thick gauge steel. I've talked about it a few times in these videos, I think. It's really thick gauge stainless steel, and that really thick steel keeps the water nice and cold throughout the day. Like, I don't have to refrigerate it or anything. Water just stays nice and cold, well below room temperature. Getting into a bit of an issue there with Manana. That wasn't so much due to ground clearance, but due to its really long turning radius. But you notice it's not the most elegant on these jumps. Definitely struggles quite a bit on most of them. Even though I try to get it flat, you can see there, the front end really wanted to kick back up in the air, which of course I need the front end to be on the ground so I can steer. Similar thing here, but this time with the brakes, I really thought for a second I was going to go off. The Manana does not have the best brakes, and we even got a little bit of two-wheel action back there. That was kind of fun. But what are you going to do? It's a lowrider. Granted, it's a muscle lowrider, but it's still a lowrider. And you can't expect too much out of it. You can't really expect too much out of the muscle class anyway when it comes to off-roading. Yeah, struggling to stay on the path, narrowly avoided the tree of many crashes. But we're coming off the dirt now and onto our last bit of asphalt where, this car really needs to stay. And, gosh, the lack of grip and everything is really showing itself here. But, just stay off the throttle a little bit and it'll be okay. We are finally down 2 minutes, 40 seconds. So it's going to be 39. And everybody's going to go wee over the side. Wee, there they go. Oh, nice two wheels hobo. But that means we go back to the top of Mount Chiliad. Everybody lined up behind me, ready to fling their vehicles off the side of the mountain with me. It's almost like Rockstar put that ramp there for this very purpose. Almost down a perfectly smooth landing there, but kind of caught the edge of the hill. You can see everybody's already just shedding tons of body panels. I always love that. But there's just a huge pile of body panels. A few just came off of mine, in fact. I just think it's rather hilarious. Having issues. This long wheelbase makes it a little difficult to navigate through here. And it just doesn't want to go straight. It wants to go backwards. This thing really wants to go down booty first. There goes a bumper, I think. Pretty sure that's what just fell off. Looks like Hobo was in a little bit of trouble there on a boulder. I landed on a boulder and got spun around temporarily by Hobo. I hit everybody else and spin right back around. Like I said, for some reason, it just really wanted to have the back end pointing down instead of the front end. It just seemed like that was my constant struggle, was to go forwards instead of backwards. Oh, nice hit on the Hobo there. Kind of proud of that one. Thinking I should have made my secondary chrome, so all that stuff under the car would be chrome. I'll have to see what that'll do to the rest of the car. Now that I'm looking at the white, it just kind of looks weird. But it looked really cool if that whole frame was chrome. I didn't realize this is a body-on-frame car. Anyway, back on my wheels, into the tunnel, where everybody's just sitting here for some reason, don't know why. So, wedge them on out. Spin Donkey out, because that's what one must do. Into the next tunnel, trying to slow down so I can actually get through it this time, and boom, rolled over. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So, back underway. This thing actually, if you notice, has some body damage. I guess it shouldn't be surprising since it's based on the original Manana, but it seems like sometimes the Benny's cars don't inherit the damage models of the original cars. So, bit of a crash there at the end. But we're down at 2 minutes, 21, almost 22 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage on the Manana. The windshield's gone, all the lights missing. The front bumper and fenders gone. I'll be able to speak here in a minute. The hood, the right door missing. Trunk and left doors won't close. Bent wheels and body damage. We will take a look at our support vehicles, and about the same. Pretty much the same. For some reason, Donkey decided to shotgun Sven. Don't really understand it. But that brings us to our next vehicle, the Imponte Beater Dukes. And now, at the outset, You know, can we really, when we get to the damage screen after the damage descent on this one, chalk up the body damage since it starts with body damage? Granted, that's, you know, not actual damage. It's all just in the model of the car, but still, it does make for a bit of a challenge. Didn't want to do a good wheelie again, huh? Pardon my sniffles. As usual, allergies. I was outside with the annoying dog earlier. My parents have a really, really obnoxious dog. I don't like her. I take care of her during the day since I'm home during the day. And by take care of, I mean I bring her back here while I edit videos and work on my channel and all of that. And she sleeps over behind me in a chair. Pretty much all day. She's still annoying. So, Beater Dukes. A slightly less powerful Dukes, but with far more customization options. Obviously, I went for the beater look with the rusted livery and matte paint job. Though the chrome exhaust tips do kind of stand out a little bit. I wish when you chose like a rusty livery that it would put like rust on chromed pieces. There's really no way you can get around that. Even had to change away from the stock wheels because they were just a little too bright. But I like the livery that's on this. I think it makes it look like it's, you know, a car ready for a demolition derby. You know, something you picked up at the junkyard for $100 and worked on it over the weekend just enough to get it running so you can enter the derby. Yeah. Now the event's over. Nobody collected the briefcase. How sad. While we're not going to see anything under 3 minutes from the Beater Dukes, we are going to see something kind of impressive. Remember what I said earlier about the Manana coming in a second and a half slower than the original Dukes. By the original Dukes, I mean just the Imponte Dukes, not the Duke of Death or anything like that. I guess there's really only 3 Dukes in the game, but why do we have 3 Dukes in the game? Come on. Though I would like to see more beater cars. I like the idea. I wouldn't mind having a garage full of beater cars. Just to have a bunch of banged up, gross looking cars. I think it looks kind of cool. Especially the fact that it carries over to the interior. But anyway, I used the Dukes as our benchmark for the Manana on purpose, since we will be testing the Beater Dukes here, which is just struggling so much to keep power down. The thing is just all over the place, it's tail happy, and the wheels just want to spin. Which was frustrating the whole way up the mountain. Can't remember if I actually made this or not, or if I had to go back and around. Yeah, it doesn't want to do it. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's not gonna. I thought for a minute there it was going to, but nope. Recorded this well over a week ago by the time I'm editing it, and then by the time I edit it, I forget what happens. So we are up to the top of the mountain, 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So will it off-road? Yes. 11 seconds faster than the original Dukes. So it's slightly less powerful, but quicker up the mountain, which just goes to show that sometimes having a little less power is good for off-roading. Oops, I hit somebody. I think it was Sven. But I think was trying to parachute down from here. But I think it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well for me either. Oh, never mind. It went well for Sven. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something over there with his parachute car. So yeah, back down the mountain. And this is where I'm glad I have a spoiler. Because if I struggle to keep the back end in line going up, then we know we want to have a little bit of grip coming back down. Oh, whoa, hi. Hi, how you doing, Sven? Nice to see you in your Renault 2000. He just wanted to photobomb a bit there. So you can tell I'm being a little careful. I haven't really driven the Beater Dukes all that much, so I wasn't really sure how it was going to do in the descent. Namely, I wasn't really sure how good its brakes were. So I was a little hesitant to put on a lot of speed for fear that... Oh, you got in front of me. For fear that I wouldn't be able to bring it to a stop when I came to turns. Speaking of turns and grip and all that, yeah, so that happened. But it's okay, we're turned around. We're good. We're good. We're fine. And just continuing a rather casual drive back down the mountain. Again, muscle cars tend to not do very well off-roading, period. Ooh, but we did take out a hiker. That's a good thing. They need to stay off our mountain. They don't have a permit to be there. I don't know what they're thinking. It is the Vainglorious Mountain. Do not ever be confused about who this mountain belongs to. It belongs to the Vainglorious, and if you're on it, you're only there because we gave you permission. So, struggling a lot to keep the back end behind me. Anytime I touch the gas in the dirt, the back end's just like, I want to be in the front. As you can see, it just non-stop is an issue. And once again, I wind up completely just sliding off. And now somebody's shooting their guns. And now we just have a melee. I think everybody thought it was the damaged ASCENT. Yeah, they got confused for a minute. Catching up on Hobo, or catching up to Hobo here. He just got out of the way. I didn't slow down either. I just kept pushing. I figured I'd either hit him. Oh, slick drift. I held that really well. Granted, I didn't carry it onto the second corner, but I held it through that first corner really well. I'm amazing. But we are down, if not a little bit sideways, in 2 minutes, 54 seconds. There goes Hobo. There goes Donkey, I think. And that's it. That's all we stayed for. Somebody honking at me to go. They were getting impatient, so let's do it. Let's go off the side of the mountain. Again, it attempted to wheelie and failed. Broke like it's one remaining window. I just noticed that there's no right door mirror on this car. That's kind of awesome. And then on the beater, they took the mirror off. I wonder if you look closely enough if there's a place for it. By the way, speaking of looking closely, when we get down to the bottom of the mountain and do the spin around shot, pay attention to the C-pillars right above the rear fenders, and you'll notice a bit of a Z-channel issue going on, where some of the mesh, the texture, and the model of the car and the textures aren't quite lining up. It's interesting. Should have taken cheaty lines, and I figured I'd join him. I don't have a hydraulic jump nor parachute, but I can always drive over the side. But I was taken out by Hobo. And somebody's driving something that's set in Imponte. The car stalled right here. This isn't me off the gas. The car actually stalled. It was able to steer, able to brake, but the engine was providing no power. The only thing I can think to call it is a stall. I mean, but that's not really accurate, because if you look closely when that happens, the exhaust is still clearly working, so I'm not really sure what to call it when it happens. But look at the amount of damage on the Dukes. It's pretty banged up. I really thought I was going to get over the wood pile there. I really thought I had the run up to it. I thought I had the right car. But nope, hasn't happened. But we are down, and you can see what I was talking about right there above the C-pillar, where things aren't quite lining up above the fenders or with the glass anymore. But all the lights and windows are gone. The front and rear bumpers are missing. The hood and right door gone. The trunk and left door will not close. There are bent wheels and severe body damage. I have no idea what's happening over there with that truck. I just let them do their own thing. Who knows? Anyways, particular damage, Donkey's car got beat up. So did Commander's pretty bad. But that's going to do it for this episode of Will It Off-Road. Come hang out with us on the Vainglorious Discord server. I don't know what that was. Where you too can take part in Will It Off-Road if you play on PC. But even if you don't, just come hang out with us. We'd love to have you as part of our community. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.